So here's something unusual. No wind in the background because I'm actually recording at my home. So I'm sure in about 3 or 4 minutes, my son will break in about something. So this will be a quick little video. This is about the post that came up on D&D Beyond with OGLs, SRDs, and 1D&D. So I took a little look at this, and I'm just giving you my non-legal expertise on this. This is just my opinion of what I've read, what I think is interesting, and some things that just jumped out to me immediately. So I'm gonna take it like one by one, just so they list it. Number one, will 1D&D include an SRD and be covered by the OGL? They say yes, and of course we know later on, but they're saying their OGL terms are going to change, which I expected that. That's not a big deal. That's not a big surprise. I expect them to do that. That's very realistic. And number two, will the OGL terms change? She goes, yes, they'll release a version of 1.1 of the OGL in early 2023. Well, that's good. You need a new one. There's gonna be a whole new system, and let's be honest, they kind of gave away too much of the farm on the first edition, the first version of OGL, in a good way. I mean, they really, I mean, come on, man, they gave away a whole lot to make it really, really good for everybody to make money for the last 20 plus years on this thing, and many derivatives have come out of that, so that's a good thing. I don't know what to expect out of the OGL 1.1. We're making sure that OGL 1.1 is clear about what it covers and what it doesn't. Now that's important because it's always been kind of like a gray area, but OGL 1 makes it clear it only covers material created for the use in or as TTRPGs, and those materials are ever permitted as printed media or static electronic files like EPUBs and PDFs. So basically, they're just saying it's just for PDFs and not for video games, which I get. I'm like, okay with that. Second, we're updating the OGL to offer different terms to creators who choose to make share like content and creators who want to sell their products. Logical, no problem. And then it comes to these three little points. And this is where it got kind of interesting for me. It goes, number one, accept the license terms and let us know what you're offering for sale. Well, that's not a big deal. That happens a lot. No surprise. Report OGL related revenue annually if you make more than $50,000 in a year. Okay, that kind of jumped out to me, but I want to get to the third one so you all know what's going on. Number three, include a creator products badge on your work. Well, they've done that since day one. That's not a big deal. But I'm not going to lie, that number two kind of jumped out at me incredibly because of a couple things. Number one, it says report OGL related revenue annually. It didn't say report OGL 1.1 related revenue annually. It said OGL related revenue annually. Now, I make a lot of products. Does that mean I have to report that stuff to WotC now? Because it doesn't say you can't. And some people are like, well, Lewis, they just inferring. I'm like, no, let's not infer. Because we're talking about a legal document they're going to try to put together, and let's get the wording right. For example, like I just read to you, it says report OGL related revenue annually if you make more than $50,000 a year. Well, that's really good, and that's true. Now, Gizmodo quoted saying, and I got to get the actual quote because when I saw it, I was like, wait, that's not right. Gizmodo says, and let me get what paragraph it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The sixth paragraph it starts off as the Wizards of Coast statement explains, caveats do kick in for creators making over, now wait for it, this is the important, $50,000 in profit using the products using the OGL. The word in profits is very different than what they said. They said if you make more than $50,000 in a year. They didn't use the word profit. They didn't use the word revenue. They didn't use the word gross. They didn't use the word net. They used $50,000 in a year. Now you've got Gizmodo quoting profit, which is very different. Now, when they use the word profit in there, so are they talking profit after everything's done? And like, what, I got to turn my tax report over to them? I mean, and then it continues on. If you make more than 50K in profit, you must report your annual income to Wizards of the Coast. This will allow Wizards of the Coast to keep a thumb on the pulse of the third-party products and will give the company additional data sets for future products. Well, that's another piece I don't like too much. So if you make $50,000, they're going to look at you as a development hub. And don't get me wrong, I would too if I was in their place. Yeah, if you made more than $50,000, that means there's some money there. I assume that means also with Kickstarters too. So But once again, I can't even assume that because we don't even know if that's true. So that's me making assumptions that haven't been proven yet. So, here we are. So we got this going on. It's a lot going on here. And then, of course, additionally, if creators make more than $750,000 in profit, see, they keep saying the word profit over at Gizmodo. I'm pretty sure it says sales. Other one, we'll get back to that. Less than 20 people, according to the company, they will have to pay royalties starting in 2024. VTT companies and others who've custom agreements with Wizards will also be unaffected. Now, that's what Gizmodo said. Let me get back over here and see. Okay. For the fewer than 20 creators, and this is from the Wizard site, for fewer than 20 creators worldwide who make more than $750,000 in income a year, we will add a royalty starting in 2024. So even for the creators making significant money selling D&D supplements and games, no royalties will be due in 2023, and all revenues below 750,000 in the future will be royalty free. Okay, those are pretty good statements. And I'm kind of interested that there's 20 people or 20 it says 20 creators. So I want to say 20 people, 20 creators that make $750,000 a year in income. Now, that's not profit. They said income. See, you got to watch the wording here. One says $50,000 more a year. They said revenue. This one says income. They're using a lot of different words. So now's the time to get these lawyers involved. So I already put a post on my own Facebook saying my buddy Henry to come check this out because Henry's actually a lawyer. Henry runs a game company, and he can at least talk about the legality of some of this because I know it's going to get interesting. So, I, oof, I don't know what to say, but I am going to say I'm interested. I want to see more. I want to talk about this. I'm going to talk more about this. But right now, I still have questions. I still have lots of questions. Now, don't get me wrong. I am 100% with WotC doing whatever they want with their property. It's their property. They can do whatever they want. I just want to know how it's going to affect the people right now who are selling. Because a lot of people are worried. And some people are like, oh, don't worry. Some of you are not going to be worried. Some of you will. How much is the OGL going to change? What is going to be the biggest, thing that people are going to hate? So, that's what people are going to ask. I'm just saying at this point, the wording is still kind of vague. We got to work a lot on that, and we'll go from there. Once the wording gets done and we get an actual one, then I can comment hardcore. But what I saw, yeah, there's some issues. There's some issues already, but that's what we do. We do gaming. What did you expect? Uh, so if you like this video, do me a huge favor. Click below. Click the like button. Give us a thumbs up. If you hated what I talked about, hey, click the thumbs down. I'm good either way. That's how we work over here. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you all later.